anything to do with the negotiations is all confidential.
Quincy School Board members and the Quincy Public School Board are working out their ways to find a new contract deal with district employees. We'll explain the reason why a strike is now part of the conversation.
And bundle up the kids as they wait for the bus tomorrow morning. Temperatures will be in the single digits. The question is, how long will the cold go on? We have the answer with your forecast coming up.
Plus, tonight, Quincy is working to help your water utility dollars go farther. I'm Rachel Pearson, and coming up, I'll show you a problem you may not have even noticed. That story in just minutes.
This is KHQA News at 10, working for you.
We do not have a suspect at this time.
Investigators in Rawls County speak out after a possible homicide in New London, Missouri. Authorities are now investigating the death of 53-year-old Sue Epperson. KHQA's Raja Maples joins us now live in studio to show you what we know so far. Raja.
Rawls County Sheriff Gary Dinwiddie says a major case squad is now conducting door-to-door interviews to determine just how Epperson died. Deputies responded to this home in the 400 block of East 2nd Street in New London. That's when they found Epperson's body inside her home. The Rawls County Sheriff says that her death is considered a homicide at this time. He says the investigation all started when a phone call from a concerned family member happened.
The daughter had called us and relayed to us that the last time she had talked to her mom was Sunday night about 7 p.m.
Now, as Sheriff Dinwiddie said, there are no suspects at this time. This is an active investigation right now by the Rawls County Sheriff's Office, New London Police Department, Missouri Highway Patrol, and the Nemo Major Case Squad.
Speaking of investigations, here's one to tell you about right now in Knox County, Missouri. The Edina Sentinel reports the FBI is now investigating a mismanagement of narcotics and money at the county's ambulance district. According to the reports, Knox County's prosecutor requested an investigation into possible theft of drugs and money by an employee at the district. The FBI is now handling this case, and FBI officials will not comment at this time on that investigation.
New at 10 o'clock, this man on your screen was arrested on drug and weapon charges. This after authorities searched a home at 634 North 14th Street. Officials found methamphetamine, marijuana, and a stolen handgun inside that home. 28-year-old Caleb Rowe was taken to the Adams County Jail.
Now, your 7-storm team first forecast.
It was a cold day across the nation's midsection with some obscured sunshine, but temperatures did get up into the mid-upper 20s across the tri-states. We got up to 26 at Quincy Regional Airport, 22 at the Quad Cities, 28 at Kansas City, and 31 at St. Louis International. Now we've dropped to 14 at Quincy, 9 above at the Quad Cities, 23 at Kansas City, as well as St. Louis. There's not much going on across the region. A cold front did push across the tri-states, now settled just to the north of Kansas City, south of St. Louis, continuing to press farther south. No precipitation associated with it other than bitterly cold temperatures. So the cold air is going to lock in for tonight. 7 above for the low. Mostly clear sky. The wind out of the northwest at 5 to 10. Wind chill from 0 to about 5 below. Bundle up for tomorrow morning, if you will. The temperatures will rise back up to about 20 tomorrow afternoon as the wind will gradually shift back to the southwest. That usually means a warming trend, but how much and for how long? The answer coming up in just a few minutes.
Rich, thanks. New tonight at 10, the Quincy School Board sits in executive session for almost 2 hours discussing possible teacher contract negotiations. Quincy's teachers and staff are still negotiating for this year's contract. You're looking at video from a school board meeting earlier in November. Now, this negotiation period has been going on since July of this year. Now, KHQA spoke directly with board president Saeed Ali. He says anything to do with contract negotiations from the board standpoint is strictly confidential. Ali did say this current board has a lot of positive successes with the school cultures developing and construction efforts in the last year. He says he hopes the positivity continues into, quote, ongoing negotiations.
We do not want, a strike. I don't think that would be good for anybody, so we're just going through the process.
Now let's talk about those people who could be taking a strike later on. Now, those involved in this negotiation process are not just teachers, paras, secretaries, and other staff. There are a total of 6 unions right now forming the Quincy Federation to reach a contract deal with the district. Altogether, that's about 850 employees. Co-president of the teachers subgroup of the Federation, Jen Drew, says the union made a counterproposal last week, but the district did not respond with anything. She says if conversations don't pick up, teachers may have to strike.
But it affects the whole community, all the children, the people who are at work. What are they going to do with their kids for daycare? But the things that we are asking for are, fair and consistent pay and language for all of our groups.
Now, Drew says a strike is a worst-case scenario. She says tonight at the meeting held at the union headquarters from 4 until 7, that a counter-proposal, I should say, was approved by members. The community can expect an update on this process on Friday. Also happening tonight, Quincy Public School accepts a bid for the donated ADM land. Jack Sharkey won the bid for the land at 30th and Locust. He will now pay $400,000 to QPS. The district will then apply that money to the elementary school construction effort at the 48th and Columbus roadside.
Hollister Whitney employees put down their signs and pick up their lunch boxes to get back to work. Their strike is now ended. Local 822 Union Representative Ross Miller tells KHQA a contract was ratified today between the union and Hollister Whitney. No other details have been released. Well, tonight at 10 o'clock, a significant water loss for Quincy.
That's right. KHQA's Rachel Pearson now joins us live in studio to explain the reason behind that loss.
That's right. Just looking at the streets around town, Quincy residents might not see a problem, but just under the surface, water is leaking from city pipes. Quincy is currently losing about 33% of its treated water into the ground and sewers.
We've suspected that the losses were high.
This loss of water also means a loss in revenue for water utilities. City engineer Jeffrey Conti says Quincy's infrastructure dates back nearly 150 years.
We have hundreds of miles of water mains that are dating back between 1874 and 1900, and those mains are leaking.
And while it's normal for cities to lose about 15% of their water, it's an issue the city's working to fix.
Leakage is to be expected. The way the pipes are built, they have flexible joints so that they can move with the ground. So you're never going to get all the leakage eliminated.
Conti adds it's difficult to know where exactly a leak is located. He says crews try to hear water main leaks by attaching a steel rod to a valve or curb stop.
We do our best to get within the general vicinity, but then you got to dig.
And replacing a single pipe leak can cost an average of $10,000.
Over the next few years, you're going to see a lot of streets being closed down to replace water mains, repair sewer lines, and to improve the infrastructure.
Now, Conti says that although costly, these repairs are an investment in the future of Quincy's infrastructure and can ultimately help keep your water utility bill lower. Live in studio, Rachel Pearson, KHQA News.
New tonight in consumer news now, the Federal Reserve is now raising the interest rates due to a good U.S. economy. Melissa Rainey breaks down what this rate increase really means for you.
The economy is proven to be remarkably resilient, so it is a vote of confidence in the economy.
With economic growth steady and an unemployment rate that continues to fall, the Federal Reserve announced Wednesday it is raising interest rates. It's only the second time in the last decade the rates have been raised. The Fed originally slashed rates to zero in 2008 during the financial crisis and didn't raise them until 2015. The market closed a little lower today following the announcement, and though the rate increase is small, 0.25%, the impact will likely affect millions of Americans. If you're a saver but are tired of not seeing that bank account grow, this is good news for you. An increase in the interest rate means more interest earned by your savings accounts, slowly but surely. For those looking to purchase big-ticket items, this increase will make borrowing money a little more expensive and possibly a little bit harder. But don't panic. A rate hike by the Fed does not guarantee that mortgage rates will rise. Though they jumped following the election at 4.1%, they are still very low. President-elect Trump was very critical of the super low interest rates during the campaign.
The Fed is doing political by keeping the interest rates at this level. And believe me, when they raise interest rates, you're going to see some very bad things happen.
He will soon have the burden of growing the economy with a now slightly higher interest rate. I'm Melissa Rainey reporting.
Well, new at 10 o'clock tonight, Yahoo discloses a new security breach that may have affected more than 1 billion accounts. The breach dates back to August 2013. Yahoo now believes an unauthorized third party stole user data. That may have included names, email addresses, and passwords, but not financial information. The company will notify users who may be impacted. Users are now being asked to change their passwords immediately.
Well, meanwhile, American Airlines is now in trouble for its flight delays. The U.S. Department of Transportation fined the airline $1.6 million. The company is accused of allowing dozens of domestic flights to remain on the tarmac for more than 3 hours without giving passengers the chance to deplane. American says it's happy the matter is resolved and is committed to taking care of passengers.
Still to come, find out the reason why health experts say it's still important for you to enroll under the Affordable Care Act. That story and much more next on KHQA News at 10.
You're watching KHQA News at 10, working for you.
Tonight at 10 o'clock, the first deadline to renew or get health care insurance by the new year is tomorrow. KHQA Iowa State House reporter Steffi Lee shows you why health experts say it's still important you enroll under the Affordable Care Act.
So we've seen a big push.
At Visiting Nurse Services of Iowa, it's crunch time to sign people up for health care under the Affordable Care Act.
Now it's important to offer this free in-person assistance for folks that are enrolling in health insurance.
Navigator specialist Nicole Cook says at every appointment,
we will help them with the eligibility application, comparing and shopping for plans, enrolling in that plan.
Before the ACA, people with pre-existing conditions like cancer or diabetes could be denied coverage. A new report from the Kaiser Family Foundation shows this law protects more than 400,000 Iowans under age 65.
We will and must repeal and replace Obamacare.
But President-elect Donald Trump's campaign promise to repeal the law has caused some worry. But experts say you should still enroll in a health care plan because the law is the law.
I think there's certainly some pieces of the law that they will maintain, whether they call it a repeal or they call it a replacement or a fix. I do think that in general everyone understands that before the law, the system we had in place was not sustainable.
Director of Drake University's Health Law Program, Denise Hill, says an immediate repeal of the entire law is unlikely.
They'll probably do something in the area of appropriations budgeting to repeal pieces of it, but that's going to take some time. Over time, we likely will see that the individual mandate will go away.
In Des Moines, Steffi Lee, KHQA News.
Staying in the Tri-States, happening this week in Ag. Ursa Farmers Co-op gets a brand new facility. The new location sits right along Highway 96 in the former Greenfield Elementary School. The company held a ribbon cutting today to thank those who supported the community room portion of this building. Features include 12,000 square feet of office space and a meeting room, plus a gym.
Have this awesome office space here that we can grow into, and we also have a way to give back to the community.
That's really exciting. Grain handling operations will still continue at its former locations in Ursa, Illinois. The community will be able to have access to the community room in January.
Well, more bulbs have changed on the red wreath hanging outside of Quincy firehouses. The Quincy Fire Department responded to a structure fire on Golden Grove on December 10th. Now, the residents had an attic fire around the chimney of the fireplace. The fire was quickly extinguished with minimal damage. Firefighters changed the fourth bulb from red to white so far this month for its Keep the Wreaths Red program.
Well, tonight at 10, while the bells are ringing, donations have been collected and baskets have been packed. Now it's time for the Salvation Army to distribute Christmas assistance around northeast Missouri. Today's Hannibal distribution was for both Marion and Rawls counties. Over 1,000 children were served today. That's really impressive. Douglas Community Services, Hannibal Parks and Recreation, and the Salvation Army co-sponsored today's event.
Appreciate the volunteers that have been here and the staff members of the Salvation Army who have taken their time to help us spread the little bit of the joy of Christmas, and to know that our Christmas efforts helps us spread Christmas cheer throughout the year.
That distribution process is such a smooth process as well. Now tomorrow, Monroe, Lewis, Pike, and Shelby counties will all receive their deliveries.
Well, KHQA is sponsoring our 12 Hours of Giving blood drive this Friday. Now, it's at the American Red Cross Blood Donation Center in Quincy. Jace Squalra is a one-year-old cancer survivor. He received several units of blood while he was undergoing chemotherapy. His mother, Alicia, is a longtime blood donor, but never thought she'd be on the receiving end of a donation.
Know who donated to fill the bags for all the bags of blood that Jace got. I have no idea. So I'm just thankful to everyone, because there's an opportunity every time someone donates for me to say thank you.
Now, once again, this event is this Friday from 7 a.m. until 7 p.m. at the American Red Cross Blood Donation Center in Quincy.
And we've got some chilly weather to talk about as we head into the upcoming weekend. We got the details for you coming up next.
Now, your exclusive 7 Storm Team forecast.
Live look through our sleep-tight sky cam to the northwest, where we do have a mostly clear sky. And off on the opposite side, it's a mostly full moon, and the last of the full moon of 2016, I might say. In the meantime, we do have cold temperatures to report. The high today, 26, 10 the low earlier today, 37 and 22, where we should be 719, the sunrise for tomorrow morning. The latest from Quincy Regional Airport with that clear sky, we got 14 degrees, dew point temperature of 4, a northwest wind at 8 miles an hour. Barometric pressure, it's up there and it's rising rapidly at 30.44 hundredths inches. Temperatures now 12 degrees at Fort Madison, 14 at Keokuk, 18 degrees at Hannibal. We got 16 degrees at Kirksville, 14 at Jacksonville, and 15 at Pittsfield. Macomb, you check in at 11 degrees. Now, you put the wind in, it's 10, 12 miles an hour out of the northwest, and that does make it feel a lot colder with the wind chill numbers. 3 below at Macomb. It's 1 above at Keokuk, 4 below at Fort Madison, 8 above at Hannibal, and we got 2 above at Kirksville. Bundle up. Any exposed skin will be subject to frostbite very quickly with these temperatures. Not much on the water vapor imagery, dry atmosphere above. Did have a cool front that moved through earlier this afternoon. It's now cleared the tri-states down south of St. Louis now, Kansas City, moving towards the Lake of the Ozarks. There's nothing associated with it. Most of the cloud cover has melted away, and along with that, there's no snow flurry activity with it whatsoever. Now, we got a couple of things going on. The forecast in motion. Generally, weak high pressure is in control. It gradually shifts off to the southeast. This will allow a bit of a southwesterly flow to ensue late tomorrow afternoon. With that, it transports somewhat warmer air across the tri-states, and along with that, a little bit of moisture out ahead of what is a developing storm system off to the west. That will do a couple of things. 1, spread some snow across the northern tier of the country. 2, create some possible freezing drizzle along and south of Interstate 70 sometime on Friday. For us, it may be a risk of some light snow on Friday. That may translate to maybe a mix as we head into the latter part of Friday night or Saturday, but it's really not picked up here on our forecast data as of yet. We'll have to watch for any kind of trends in the next 24 hours. Tonight, 7 above, clear sky, northwest wind at 5 to 10, wind chill from 0 to 5 below. So bundle up late tonight and especially at the bus stop tomorrow. 21 for tomorrow, increasing clouds, still on the chilly side, a light breeze, but the wind shifts to the southwest. That will start the warming trend and prevent a free fall of temperatures tomorrow night. So after 21, the high tomorrow, 15 tomorrow night, 32 on Friday. And then that winter storm actually starts to make its way inbound. Most of the snow is going to stay to our north. Very light amounts are expected for us in the region, but not to rule out maybe a little light snow on Friday and maybe a mix on Saturday. But again, this is not a major weather impact. The big impact is going to be the freezing temperatures. 28 the high on Saturday, 1 below Saturday night into Sunday, 9 above the high on Sunday. So again, it's the cold that's going to be the big impact, not necessarily the precipitation that falls out of the sky. Then we start a warm up as we head into next week. So we go from sub-zero temperatures to almost a high of near 40 by the day that winter officially starts next Wednesday. So again, this is a short-lived cold snap, but boy, It's going to be cold.
So now is the time to prepare to check on your neighbors, the elderly, your loved ones, and make sure your animals have plenty of warmth because these are dangerous temperatures.
Exactly. And remember, have a plan. What would you do if you would not have power in a situation like that?
Ooh,
that's something else to keep in mind.
That's frightening.
Something good to keep in mind, though. Thank you, Rich.
Yeah.
Coming up in sports, Nico joins us now in studio to talk about how it might be cold outside, but for Western girls, it might be heating up.
That's right, David. A great finish between Western and Payson. We'll have those highlights and more. A couple collegiate signings and more coming up next in sports.
Now, from across the Tri-States, this is KHQA Sports.
Today, a local softball player made it official that her playing days will continue. Palmyra first baseman Madison Kime signed a national letter of intent to play at Central Methodist University, where she will get a degree in nursing.
One of the coaches from this past year said, if I really push hard, then I can do whatever I want to do, whatever I can achieve. And so I really pushed myself this past year so I could play at the next level. They had one of the best nursing programs in Missouri, so to be able to do academics and sports at the same time is something I really looked into. I'm really passionate about softball. To be able to play it at the collegiate level makes me really happy because it's something I love to do. I want to keep doing it for as long as I can. It's a great feeling to have all the support that they're all here and supporting me to my next level that I'm going to.
Last night, Western's sensational junior Blair Barrowman dropped 15 straight points in the Wildcats' comeback win over Unity. Tonight, Western back on the road, this time with a showdown against Payson Seymour, and another great finish in this one. There's Barrowman, and there are the Lady Indians getting fired up in front of their home fans. Early on, though, Indians ahead. Hannah Fry is going to cut into the deficit for the Lady Wildcats, but Haley Hickerson at the other end, the junior, hitting the three. More from her in the second half. Payson up by 5. Third quarter we go. Jordan Walston going to knock down a 3 right there, but then Hickerson answering through the contact at the other end. She scored on back-to-back possessions. Barrowman, though, starts to heat up in the third quarter. Elbow jumper, good. Pull-up 3, also good from Barrowman. 9 points for Blair Barrowman in the quarter, 15 on the night to go along with 11 rebounds. Here she is with another putback bucket. And then how about this spin move from Haley Hickerson? Gonna make the sensational 7 to go along with a game-high 17 points. A few dabs in the stands from the fans. Then 30 seconds to go. Indians down 3. Tori Scheifer-Decker ties